first presenter, you talk about an ally. This person is an ally to the entire world. And not only an Emmy winner and member of the Television Academy Hall of Fame, she's also the recipient of the Television Academy's Bob Hope Humanitarian Award. It's my honor to please welcome Oprah Winfrey.
Everybody, good evening. I'm here for Shonda. She could not have come at another time. She could not have come to another place. She belongs to this medium, and she belongs to this moment in a way that doesn't so much defy the odds as redefine the odds. She is currently the most powerful showrunner in television, period. As the creator of the game-changing series Grey's Anatomy, Private Practice, Scandal, and as executive producer of How to Get Away with Murder, Shonda Rhimes makes appointment television with an inclusive world view. In a business where people sometimes talk in circles, she is known for being refreshingly direct. She understands power, and she has protected the integrity of her work unapologetically. She's not bossy. She is the boss. Her business card simply states, storyteller, because that's who she is and what she does. Shonda tells stories that reflect the wonderfully multicultural, multiracial, multi-everything world that we see all around us. And she writes about individuals from different backgrounds who defy stereotypes. She doesn't write about problems, she writes about people. And she makes us care about people. And she makes us care about ourselves. She creates ambitious and complicated female characters who encounter the kinds of gender politics and personal dramas that we all face each and every day. We love these women. They're not perfect, but they're perfect for us because they are us in all of our complicated glory. We are affirmed by their struggles and inspired by their courage, and we love their style. If this was a black girl gathering, which I'm just going to pretend it is for a moment, I would have to talk about their hair, about Annalise Keating taking off her wig in How to Get Away with Murder, and how that moment actually redefine what is real and what is not, and what is beautiful and what is not. And I'd have to talk about how Olivia Pope's decision to cut those bangs, that decision reverberated all the way up to the real White House, where the real First Lady Michelle cut her own bangs and then outed herself as a serious gladiator, as smitten with scandal as the rest of us. Shonda Rhimes shows are television events that spark conversation and engage viewers with big ideas, unexpected points of view, plot twists, and steamy love triangles. The result is the consistent capturing of television's brass ring. The highly coveted combination of being remarkable and having remarkable ratings and also extraordinary buzz. Just go on Twitter on a Thursday night and see what happens. And to elevate that buzz from water cooler variety to real time, she has mastered the use of social media and taught the rest of us how to do it. She live tweets along with her stars during telecasts for an instantaneous dialogue with all of the fans. It's incredible out there. This interaction is especially impressive considering that she is a self-described introvert at heart who once joked that she would have ended up as a very quiet librarian if she had not pursued a creative life, if she hadn't realized that her great and glorious gift is the one that she embraces so fully and shares so generously, the ability to tell us a story that we cannot resist. Shonda Rhimes, this is your time.
That was Oprah just in my introduction. That was, I don't know. There are so many people I need to thank, and if I thanked everyone, we would be here all night, truly. So I'm not going to do that. Every one of you who I invited here tonight is here because I know without a doubt your grace and your help is part of the reason that I'm standing here on this stage. Every last one of you, and you know who you are. But especially I need to thank my mother and my father, who are named Vera and Eileen Rhimes, who are literally everything because they fell in love, and then they made me, and then they raised me well. And my daughters, Harper and Emerson and Beckett, who sacrificed so much by having a mother who not just works, but a mother who writes, which is sometimes like having a mother who lives on the moon. I'm also going to particularly thank one person, my agent, Chris Silberman, because I never thank him. And for him, this has been a long, long haul from that day when I said, I think I'm gonna write a medical thingy because I heard Bob Iger likes medical shows. Plus, Chris never laughed once when I announced that I wanted to take over the world through television. He's worked very hard and he's survived a lot of me, and I am not an easy person and I never will be. I thought a lot about what I would say tonight, and to do that, I thought a lot about why I might be standing here. A very, very young woman in my mid-40s, very early in my career as a writer, being inducted into the Television Academy Hall of Fame. And I know that I am amazing and I am a goddess and I look exactly like Beyonce, blah, blah, blah. But none of that is why. It comes down to one thing, one reason why I'm standing here, and it connects to the question that I'm constantly asked by reporters in every interview, which bugs the crap out of me because I hate the question. It's the worst. I am endlessly asked the diversity question in every interview. Why is diversity so important? And we all know why I'm the one who's asked. It's the adjectives. You put an adjective in front of the word writer, female writer, black writer, and suddenly all anyone asks about, all you are allowed to talk about is the adjective and not the writer part. And I love to talk about writing. I love to talk about my work, and I love my job. I mean, I imagine for a living, but 9 times out of 10 they ask about the adjectives, the black and the female, and not the writer. 9 times out of 10 they ask the question, why is diversity so important? And I never got it. I was always like, go ask someone who isn't hiring any women or people of color. I loathe the question, and yet because of this moment, because this moment is happening, I finally actually know the answer. So I'm going to answer the question here, and it's going to be the last time I ever do it. Which I absolutely love, because now whenever anybody asks me about diversity, my answer gets to be the world's best humble brag. I am so sorry, but when I was standing on stage with Oprah at my Hall of Fame induction ceremony for the Television Academy, I answered that question for the final time in my career. You'll have to refer to the transcripts of that Hall of Fame induction speech I gave during the ceremony at the Television Academy while standing on stage with Oprah. I mean, it works. Okay, the diversity question, here it goes. My father has always said to me, the only limits to your success are your own imagination. And growing up, I was chubby in all the wrong places with Coke bottle thick glasses and 2 cornrow braids down the sides of my head, and I was the youngest of 6 kids. But I had all of these dreams and ideas of what I would be. I had a lot of dreams and a lot of ideas. I had fancies, I had doodles in the brain. I had and still have an extraordinary imagination. There were worlds inside there, nations and lands, Shondalands. The only limit to my success was my own imagination. My father saying that was a gift because I really believed growing up I could be whatever I imagined. And it's only now as a parent do I look back to see how hard my parents must have worked to make that belief possible for me in the 1970s. The Civil Rights Act wasn't even a decade old when I was born. I mean, my mom was like some sort of superhero gladiator advance team for my life, single-handedly removing the soul-crushing boulders of sexism and racism from my path, paving the way so that by the time I skipped happily along with my big ideas and piles of writing, the road was smooth and easy. They tell stories of my mother in my hometown. She is legend, but I was blissfully unaware. The only limit to your success is your own imagination, but still, you have to be able to imagine it. One day I turned on the TV and saw something it had never occurred to me to imagine. I saw this woman on TV, and she was smart and funny and emotionally honest, and she seemed unapologetically herself. She was in charge, comfortable, powerful, smart, real. It was her show, and she looked like me. She was a black woman on television, and then she was a black woman taking over the world through television. She was Oprah. Oprah Winfrey changed my imagination. She changed what I found to be imaginable. Any limits to my success suddenly seemed, something clicked, and my imagination had no limits. The world got wider. And it wasn't overnight, and it wasn't just Oprah, but Oprah was my first and most powerful example on TV of someone who looked like me. There was also Claire Huxtable in prime time and Whoopi Goldberg live on Broadway. But I want you to hear me when I say this, because I'm betting some of you have an image in your mind of what a black childhood looked like, so this feels typical to you. But I was a middle-class kid from the suburbs with a private school education and nerdy intellectuals for parents. I grew up sheltered from the ugliness of any realities having to do with poverty and real racism. I played the oboe, I was a brownie, and I'd still never seen anyone on TV who looked like me on the outside and looked like me on the inside. It had never occurred to me that television could be where my imagination would be most at home. If you can't even imagine something, how can you reach for it? You cannot see what you cannot be. And it wasn't that I wanted to be Oprah, but it was that I now knew there was a door somewhere inside that television screen, and that it was absolutely possible to either knock on it or kick it down to get inside. I knew that that world, this world, could include me. So it's important, this annoying question that I hate so very much. It is important. Diversity, inclusion. Look, our job is to entertain, to be artists. People sit down with our characters, spend more real, intimate time with them than they do with most friends. For some of my viewers, Calliope Torres is the first LGBTQ person they knew, and she was their friend. And for some of our viewers, Olivia Pope was the first black woman they ever knew, the first one they've ever empathized with, understood, rooted for, loved, or cried with. That wasn't my plan. I'm telling a story. The side effect was creating empathy. And then there's this. For some of my viewers, Olivia Pope is the first black woman who looked like them, who was the center of a story on television, who the world revolved around. A black woman who wasn't required to only be her adjective, black, but bring her full self to the story, a human being in all of her true ways. You cannot be what you cannot see, and the only limits to your success are your own imagination. The lack of inclusion on television is limiting the imaginations of our country. And it's obvious in the lack of empathy that seems to be missing over the past year since the election. In every hate crime, in the bathroom bills, and the deluge of scandals we're in right now, political infighting. People don't know or have any knowledge of other people, and they don't see them, and they may have never seen them. And when they do see people who don't look like them or worship like them or love like them on TV, they don't recognize them as realistic when they encounter them in real life, because many of the images they are currently getting on TV are not images of three-dimensional real people. And yet that's all they know. The false images they see on their TV are their window to the world. So is it any surprise that we're afraid of one another? Why are we shocked to discover that women are being treated like objects by men, harassed and assaulted, when on TV every day women are being treated like objects by men, harassed and assaulted? This thing we do, this storytelling, this television making, it is magic. It is, as my mom was, a gladiator advance team, moving ahead of us and forging paths, helping us define who we are and where we can go and who we can be, pushing back the limits to our success until there are no limits, until there are just imaginations, just dreams, just ideas, and just people, until there are just stories well told about characters well drawn and well defined and well imagined, until there's just humanity woven together by all of its common threads, until we are less alone in this universe. For me, with my thick glasses and my cornrows and my journals, seeing Oprah on TV changed what my imagination defined as success. Hanging out with Oprah every day at 3 p.m. made what my parents taught me even bigger and bolder and brighter because the living truth of their words was right there in color on my television screen. I saw for a fact that a Black woman could take over the world through television. The only limit to my success was my own imagination. And I knew I could be any damn thing I wanted, which is the reason I am now standing here on this stage being inducted into the Television Academy Hall of Fame by Oprah Winfrey. Anyone watching television anywhere in the world should be able to be any damn thing they want. And that is why diversity and inclusion on television is so important. I am beyond grateful to the Television Academy to be recognized as worthy of membership in the Hall of Fame. Thank you for the honor.